Good afternoon. I want to call the hearing for the Committee on Higher Education to order. I wish everybody a kunhi fachoy as today, February 1st. We are in room 3229 and it's about 3:01 p.m. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube and will cover the agenda items for the 3 p.m. higher education hearing and the decision making on Senate Bill 91 proposed SD1. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to mechanical or technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Thursday, February 3 at 3 p.m. in this room 229, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. For testifiers participating remotely, your audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it's your turn to testify. Testifiers will be limited to 2 minutes each, and at the end of the 2 minutes, the audio will be automatically muted. I'll be reading a list of individuals who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize if the closed caption doesn't accurately transcribe the names. If you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website. You will find a link on the status page for the measure. If there are temporary technical glitches during your turn to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. We appreciate your understanding and remind you that the committee has your written testimony. And with that, we're going to start with item 1 on the agenda, which is Senate Bill 3186, proposing an amendment to Article 10, Section 6 of the Hawaii Constitution to repeal the University of Hawaii Board of Regents Candidate Advisory Council. It repeals the Candidate Advisory Council for the Board of Regents of the University of Hawaii. It authorizes the governor to appoint members to the Board of Regents of the University of Hawaii without being limited to selecting a candidate deemed qualified by the council. Our first testifier is Lori Tanigawa from the Attorney General's Office. Welcome, Lori.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Afternoon.
Deputy Attorney General. The department submitted its written comments and we appreciate the committee's consideration of our comments. I'm available if there are any questions.
Thank you very much. So we have Kendra Oishi from the Board of Regents.
Hi, good afternoon, Senators. Kendra Oishi, Executive Administrator and Secretary of the Board of Regents, just offering comments that the regents have been made aware of these bills. However, because of the timing of bill introduction and public meeting notice requirements, they have not yet had an opportunity to discuss these measures as a board. However, we anticipate that there will be a discussion at the next board meeting on February 17. Thank you.
Thank you. We have late testimony from Jerry Ann Potty from the Kapiolani Community College Staff Council in opposition, and also written late testimony from James Lee, Association of Emeritus Regents of the University of Hawaii, who's in opposition. Brandon Mark Higa, individual. Brandon, you're here with us. Welcome.
Hi, Chair Kim and Vice Chair Kidani. I'm here as a member of the Association of Emeritus Regents to stand on AER's testimony and also my testimony as an individual. Happy to answer questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We also have testimony from Erica Molino. I hope I said that correctly. Individual in opposition. And that is all the testimony we have. Members, any questions of our testifiers? I have a question. So I guess, Brandon, it would be for you. You are the representative to the Board of Regents right now from the Association of Emeritus Regents. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm the ex officio member representing the Association of Emeritus Regents to the Candidate Advisory Council.
Right. And how long have you been on the representative?
This is my second cycle, so I'm in my second year serving.
Okay. And you're appointed for or selected from the Emeritus Regents on a yearly basis?
It's not a yearly basis, but I think the maximum term is 2 years, or whenever, as long as the chair is still the chair who appointed me.
I see. And how many members or how many applications did the CAC receive this time around for I believe we have what, 4 openings?
Yes, there are 2 vacancies for the Honolulu seats, one for Kauai and the student regent seat. Our deadline was on January 31st. I'm not sure if I'm able to share the number of applications. That might be something that we could ask from the CAC chair, Bridget Yoshino. But if it is something that I can share, I would be happy to get that to your office.
Okay, well, I did contact her and they were supposed to get back to me, but I believe that information should be available to us. Didn't you have another deadline? Didn't you have an earlier deadline?
Yes, the initial deadline was in mid-January and it was extended to January 31st to encourage more applications.
My understanding is you folks didn't feel you had enough applications.
My understanding is that we need to have 3 finalists for every seat, and with the number of applications received by mid-January, the numbers just didn't work out that way for each of the seats that are vacant, or will be vacant, I'm sorry.
Cool. So out of four seats, that would have been 12, no, 14, 16. 3 per seat.
Because there's 2 Honolulu seats, there's a possibility that I think there could be an overlap with the 2 Honolulu seats in terms of finalists that could get sent up. So it may not work out perfectly where there's 3 unique candidates for each of the 4 seats.
I think that was a concern that you folks overlap. It was meant to be 3 names per and not overlap where you have, 2 names and you only have 4 among them when you're saying it's 3 and 3, because then it doesn't give the governor another selections. And I understand you folks do that, or the board does that because they don't have enough applicants or qualified applicants. I'm not sure why they do that or why you folks do that. Can you shed any light on that? Is there anyone from the CAC other than yourself, a voting member that's here?
I don't believe so, not from the list of people who are testifying that I can see in Zoom.
Well, I'm concerned that they're not here to answer any questions.
I see, understood. To your question about the question regarding whether there should be unique finalists in each seat, I do think that that's one way to approach the situation. I can say on my experience, when I initially applied to be the student regent, my name appeared on both the student regent and the Honolulu seat because those are 2 different seats on the Board of Regents with different terms. So I'm not sure if there's any statutory requirement for there to be unique names for each seat, but I'm aware that there has been overlap in the past.
Well, I raised that concern with the AG, I believe, and I have to go back and dust that off, but I think the AG said it's supposed to be 3 separate names per position. I thought I'd shared that with the CAC, because like if you appear on 2 lists, then you certainly knows the governor's selection. Already he's narrowed down to 3, but if you're the same 3 appear, the same 2 appear on the same list, then that really minimizes his choices, which means there's really not enough applicants coming through the CAC, which is one of the reasons why we feel that perhaps that this intention of the CAC is really not measuring up to what it was intended.
Understood. I'm happy to relay these comments to the CAC and Chair Yoshino.
Well, it's really not up to them about whether we do this or not, but certainly they should be here to give us information as to how the board is run, how it's working, and just the fact that no one from the board is here sends a message to us as to, how they actually do select the candidates and whether or not we are getting a good complement of applications. Do you know how they're selected? Do you folks go out actively to get people to apply, or?
Yes, I believe the call for nominations goes out through the University of Hawaii and also to external parties as well. I know, for example, we had a robust search last cycle, not so much this cycle. It could be the timing of it with everything going on.
When you say robust, what does that mean?
The applications that we received last cycle, we had more applicants. So just my personal impression is that more people responded, more people got the information and felt interested in applying.
Right, but does the board members actually go out and try to get where you folks just send it out electronically and hope that people apply?
I think the CAC members make a concerted effort to contact people and encourage people to apply. I know since the student regent seat is open, I have called faculty advisors and other students who I've worked with some years ago to encourage people to consider applying.
Okay, members, are there any questions? I have a couple more, but I'll certainly yield if there's anybody else who want to ask a question. Okay, so I also note on your testimony, or maybe not your testimony, but the testimony from the Association of Emeritus Regents said that they would like us to reinstate a representative from the Association of Emeritus Regents back on. I know that was taken off few years ago. How many active members do you know is on the Association of Emeritus Regents?
The roster is long. I'm not sure of the exact number. We had some former regents that passed away recently. But I can look up that information and get that to you. Yeah,
I would like to know active, not how many were just eligible, but how many active. And when you say active, would you let us know what you folks considered as active? How often do you meet?
The meetings for the Association of Emeritus Regents were more often before COVID because we could get together in person, have speakers and events, but we've paused, AER's paused events. And we were going to get another event together recently, but the recent surge was a reason for us to postpone. When I was a regent and there were AER events, I remember there being maybe 3 or 4 a year. And those were memorable moments for me.
Okay, so they're just events. You don't meet regularly to discuss policy, to discuss other things?
There are meetings to discuss policy. So we'll have presentations, for example, from Vice President Young or others on specific matters at the university.
And that's how often?
When it was active, when I was still on the board of regents, it was about 3 to 4 times a year.
So that's combined with your activities?
Yes.
I see. Okay. Finally, I know you're in a pose and state that the CAC was established back in 2006, and I want you to know that I was one of those that supported this. Senator Sakamoto proposed it and thought that it would work, but it seems as though it's not doing what we had intended. And certainly this is a measure that goes before the people. So I know that your testimony says that this measure was adopted by the people, and it certainly, again, we want to put the question to them 16 years later, back to the people again. So it's not our decision, but it would be the decision of the voters. So just wanted to make that statement. Members, any other questions regarding this measure, Senate Bill 3186? Hearing none, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. And I hope to get back to us with those answers to the questions, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, members, with that, we will move on to Senate Bill 3187, relating to the University of Hawaii Board of Regents Candidate Advisory Council. And this is the measure that, should the Constitution Amendment pass, then this would be the vehicle that we would use to eliminate the University of Hawaii Board of Regents Candidate Advisory Council, and it would authorize the governor to directly appoint members to the University of Hawaii Board of Regents effective upon ratification of a constitutional amendment. And testifying is Kendra Oishi again from the Board of Regents.
Hi again, Senators. Kendra Oishi, Executive Administrator and Secretary of the Board of Regents. I'm just offering comments that the Regents have been made aware of these bills, but have not yet had an opportunity to discuss them as a board, which they will likely do in a couple of weeks at the February meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, we have Jerry Ann Potty from the Kapiolani Community College Staff Council in opposition. James Lee, Association of Emeritus Regents of the University of Hawaii in opposition. Brandon Higa again. Brandon, did you want to testify on this one?
Again, just standing on my testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. And Erica Moline, also an individual that opposes. That's all the members, it's all the testimony we have. I just wanted Ken to ask Kendra a question.
Yes.
Kendra, thank you. So Kendra, the Board of Regents will take this up, but again, this is a measure which the legislature have the direct responsibility of determining how the members are selected. So I'm glad that they're going to take it up, and I'm just wondering as to how appropriate it is for the board to take a position, I guess, on how future boards are selected. So I guess as individuals, they might want to do that. I'm not sure as a Board of Regent, they might want to, but anyway, that's just my thought. Members, any other questions for any of the testifiers today? If not, we will move on to the next item. Senate Bill 3187. I'm sorry. Oh. – 3354, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay, this is also a constitutional amendment proposing amendments to establish a Hawaii community college system that is separate from the University of Hawaii. Proposes an amendment to the state constitution to create a Hawaii community college system to administer the state's community colleges. Provides the Hawaii community college system to be independent from the University of Hawaii and to be governed by an independent board of regents. Our first testifier is Lori Ann Tanigawa from the Attorney General's office. Lori.
Good afternoon again, Chair. Lori Tanigawa, Deputy Attorney General. The department submitted its written comments, which we appreciate the committee's consideration of, and I'm available should there be any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, again, we have Kendra, and Kendra, I assume that this hasn't been taken up by the board yet as well.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Debbie Hartman, University of Hawaii Professional Assembly and opposition. James Lee, Association of Emeritus Regents, University of Hawaii, also in opposition. Erica Molino, an individual, opposition. Susan Jaworski, also opposed. John Reyes, opposed. Kelly Y. Nakamura, also opposed. That is all that we, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Sorry, I didn't mean that intentionally. We have president, I was gonna say, I thought I saw the president there. I don't see his name on the list, but your name is on the list. For Erica LaCroix, Vice President for Community Colleges. President Lasner, please.
Thank you, Chair and Senators. I'm here without Erica today. She's out sick, and she authorized me to say it is not COVID, but she was unable to join us today. But we did collaborate on the testimony. We are strongly opposed. I think in the minute and 40 seconds left, I'll just make 2 points. One is that the integrated model for public higher education in the state is a model, and it serves students well by creating opportunities for mobility between and among campuses in multiple directions. And secondly, would like to make the point of the substantial costs that would be incurred by duplicating the entire infrastructure across 2 separate public higher education systems. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Members, that's all the testimony we have. Is there any questions of our testifiers? I have a couple of questions. President, so, I often hear that the community colleges feel like they're a stepchild. Can you respond to that? I mean,
the testimony that I submitted is from both Vice President LaCroix, who is responsible for the community colleges, and myself. And I would also note that you received a fair amount of testimony from individuals within the community college system opposing this measure.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that I often hear that they feel like they're a step. the
Well,
community
I can't really
colleges-
respond to this people say. We have all different parts of the UH system have different aspects of their mission. And there are plenty of people at Manoa who feel like the community colleges get a lot more attention and love than Manoa.
How often is there funds that transfer between the community college and the and Manoa or the other parts of the university?
Funds that transfer in general, we try to honor the appropriations of the legislature, which are made to the major units. There are some number of shared expenses in which all of the units collaborate on funding shared resources such as the student information system and those kinds of things. But we typically do not move money from one part to another. When you and I discussed this during the interim, we had talked about it, but we ended up not doing that this year.
So monies weren't taken from the community college, but they
No,
do
we're
also-
not.
Yeah, but that's been taken in the past.
I am not aware, but I can check. What does happen is that when there are restrictions, they are allocated across the system. But I am not aware of funds flowing from being reallocated from the community colleges to UH Manoa, for example. I am aware of funds flowing in the other direction, and the legislature has certainly done that in the past.
I know that this measure calls for a complete separation. Has there been talks of maybe not as drastic a separation where the community colleges may report directly to the Board of Regents, establishing maybe a president or some executive officer that represents the community colleges directly to the Board of Regents?
We have not had that conversation within the university, and as you know, that is not what is provided for in the Constitution today. This obviously would amend that.
Okay, members, any further questions? Not, okay, thank you very much, President. We will move on to fourth measure, Senate Bill 3355. This is relating to the University of Hawaii Community Colleges, requires the Board of Regents of the University to submit a proposed legislation to establish a president of community colleges who shall be head of the University of Hawaii Community Colleges, who shall report directly to the Board of Regents of the University of Hawaii. Again, we have Kendra Oishi from the Board of Regents.
Aloha, Senators. Kendra Oishi, Executive Administrator and Secretary of the Board of Regents. Stand on my testimony, same as the last one. Thank you.
James Lee, Association of Emeritus, University of Hawaii, opposed, and Erica Molino, individual opposed. That's all the testimony we have on this measure. If we have any questions, hearing none, we will move on to the last item, members, is Senate Bill 91. It is a short form bill, or it was a short form bill that was posted with the proposed language, proposed SD1, which removes special funds of the University of Hawaii and the Hawaii Cancer Center Special Fund from the list of special funds that are exempt from the requirements to reimburse the Department of Budget and Finance for expenses incurred from administering the fund. So the recommendation is that we amend Senate Bill 91 with that language and insert the proposed substantive provisions and recommit the bill, the short form bill, back to the Higher Education Committee for further consideration. So that will be my recommendations. What I will do is we will recess, and can we go into a breakout room and then come back and make And I will announce. We are back in order. The Higher Education Committee measures that was on our agenda, item Senate Bill 3186, Senate Bill 3187, Senate Bill 3354, and Senate Bill 3355. We're recommending that we're going to defer this measure until February 8th. What am I thinking? At 3 p.m. in this room for decision making. So there's certain languages that we have to work on, and we want to make sure we post that items so that we can vote on it. And the final measure, members, is need a vote on this one. The recommendation is to pass Senate Bill 91 with amendments that was posted and sent back to committee for consideration. So Vice Chair, Chair votes aye.
For Senate Bill 91, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Keith-Agaran.
Aye.
Senator Wakai.
Yes.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measures adopted, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. That's the end of our agenda. We will see you on Thursday, 3 p.m., same room. A lot more excitement then. Thank you. We are adjourned.